Hi and welcome to The Print. My name is Karanjeet Kaur and I'm a journalist and an editor. Today I'd like to read you some excerpts from my column on the deaths of UPSC aspirants in New Delhi and the price of ambition in young India. India's demographic dividend is dying a slow, painful death. It is getting electrocuted in the streets. It is drowning in basement libraries at students' sweatshops that masquerade as coaching centers. It is haplessly leaping out of windows of buildings on fire. Weighed down by immense parental and societal pressure in a very competitive environment, it is dying by suicide, leaving behind heart-rending notes. In the great Indian dream, the path to success is paved with broken bodies and shattered psyches. Now, if you came of age in the early 2000s, you would remember reams of newsprint dedicated to India's demographic dividend, which is the potential for economic growth resulting from shifts in a population's age structure. About 25 years ago, India's burgeoning youth population was seen as a distinct advantage compared to other emerging superpowers like China. All it took to dismantle these notions was a week in Delhi. On the morning of July 22nd, Nilesh Rai was a UPSC aspirant with a bright future. By the afternoon, he was just another statistic in Delhi's monsoon deaths of 2024. The 26-year-old was electrocuted while returning to his PG accommodation in South Patel Nagar. The area is a hub for UPSC hopefuls attending coaching institutes in nearby Old Rajinder Nagar. A truly ghastly photograph of Rai's body, slumped over an iron gate with a tangle of serpentine wires above him, circulated soon after. It's a haunting snapshot of the high-stakes roulette that ordinary Indians are coerced into playing. Rai's tragic end is a grim reminder that in the pursuit of success, our youth are navigating a minefield of neglect and indifference. Less than a week later, 3 young aspirants in Old Rajinder Nagar met a horrific end when they drowned in the flooded basement of Rao's IAS study circle. The 3 were Shreya Yadav from Uttar Pradesh, Nivin Dalwin from Kerala, and Tanya Soni from Telangana. They had all moved to Delhi to pursue their dreams of civil services. These dreams and lives were snuffed out by the coaching center's brazen disregard for basic safety. According to the completion certificate for the building that the center was operating out of, the basement was designated as parking space or general storage, but it was being used as a library. Multiple reminders to the MCD about the basement's misuse went completely unanswered. Now, Rao's IAS is hardly an anomaly. A simple walk around Old Rajinder Nagar will reveal hundreds of violations of building norms. The deaths have sparked a very predictable blame game among the state and central governments, as well as the MCD. There are student protests, calls for resignations, and demands for compensation for the deceased students. In turn, the Delhi police has made 5 arrests in the case. This includes the 4 building owners, as well as the driver of an SUV who damaged the gate that led to the flooding. What is the number of arrests made in the MCD? 0. Does this not speak volumes about our broken system of accountability, when those tasked with preventing such tragedies seem to be completely above reproach? These tragedies are the inevitable result of a toxic brew. Institutional negligence mixed with the ruthless exploitation of young, desperate aspirants. Between 2014 and 22 crore people applied for government jobs, but less than 7.5 lakh were selected. In such a fiercely competitive environment, what choice do the students have but to fall prey to the predatory tactics of coaching institutes? Here are some examples. You will see touts patrolling metro stations in Delhi, hoping to draw these aspirants to coaching centers. Internet forums are full of horror stories about expensive classes, terrible teaching practices, and a quagmire that sucks in a young, gullible population. Late last year, the Central Consumer Protection Authority brought 20 coaching institutes under the microscope. They were making misleading claims to attract aspirants. They also imposed a penalty of 1 lakh rupees on 4 centers, which included Rao's IS study circle. Now, for an industry estimated to generate revenue of 58,000 crore rupees, this penalty is chump change. Despite multiple government advisories to regulate the coaching center industry, they have all been ignored. After all, why regulate a cash cow when you can milk it dry? Coaching centers in India are an open wound that everyone sees festering, but no one dares to stitch up. Meanwhile, the body count continues to rise. Take, for example, Kota, which is the hub for JEE and NEET aspirants, many of whom are still teenagers. A staggering 147 students have died by suicide in Kota since 2014. 30 of those suicides occurred in the last 1 year alone. To avoid the stain of these deaths, coaching centers often fail to report such incidents to the authorities. In response, the government has scrambled to draft guidelines like Ummeed to prevent student self-harm. We have now entered a nightmarish realm where district administrations have mandated hostels to install anti-suicide fans and wire mesh on balconies to prevent students from claiming their lives. Because nothing spells we care about mental health quite like turning hostels into padded cells. But here's the thing. This is the price of ambition in young India. These aspirants, our supposed demographic dividend, are paying for their dreams with their sanity, their health, and sometimes their lives. They cram into dingy PG accommodations, subsist on meager meals, and drown in endless study materials, all for a shot at a government job they are statistically unlikely to get. The quest for this hallowed job security leads them down a very precarious path. We've shoved millions of young people onto a tightrope over an abyss with no safety net. And yet, these bright-eyed aspirants keep coming, ready to gamble their lives on the slim chance of becoming the next district collector or subdivisional magistrate. In a country with rampant unemployment, even this deathly game seems like a rational choice. This ought to shame us. Instead, we applaud the valorization of student struggles in films like 12th Fail and web series like Aspirants. But how can there be any critical examination of this system when these are funded by the likes of Unacademy and represent the interests of the coaching industry? It's a little like asking the tobacco industry to support anti-smoking campaigns. We have to remember that a demographic advantage can only become a dividend when there are jobs to match it. Somehow, over the last 2 decades, we've arrived at a point where 66% of India's unemployed are educated, not illiterate. The unemployment rate among graduates stands at almost 30%. In this scenario, government jobs don't just represent security. They're also a marker of respect. Kunal Mangal, who is a data scientist and development economist and has studied India's labor market extensively, explained that government officers are treated with extreme deference, especially in rural areas. And candidates typically belong to communities where the only way of obtaining this kind of social standing is through government employment. While some part of chasing government jobs is being attracted to the benefits, some of it is being repelled by conditions in the private sector. The tragic irony is that our demographic dividend, once heralded as India's ticket to superpower status, is now drowning in basements and hanging from anti-suicide fans. We've created a system where our youth's potential is measured not by their creativity or innovation, but by their ability to survive a gauntlet of exams, mental health crises, and awful living conditions. And also, rapacious, negligent coaching centers that ignore the most basic norms. This recent tragedy is a reminder that our real dividend lies not in the quantity of our youth, but in the quality of opportunities we can provide for them. Until then, we're not nurturing a workforce for the future. We are cultivating a generation of disillusioned, desperate job seekers. And that's a demographic time bomb no number of coaching centers can defuse.